Welcome everybody back to Boost Emotion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. Welcome back everybody. So today I'm going to do actually a review on another person's opinion on the Infiniti. Doug DeMuro came out with his video, I forgot on his YouTube channel now, I think it's more Doug DeMuro, and he's going to talk about the future of Infiniti. And I'm going to give you guys my reaction, and or do I think he's telling the truth, or am I going to just be all about feelings? Because remember, feelings aren't facts, guys. So guys, let's get into it. Let's go.
Infiniti. And specifically, I'm going to tell you why I personally don't believe that Infiniti will survive as a brand. This is something I thought before the whole coronavirus situation, and I definitely think it now. And today, I'm going to explain why.
Okay. Let's see if he's talking the truth.
First, a little background about Infiniti. Now, American viewers are going to think that by providing this background, I'm padding the video for extra watch time. But this is important for most of my global viewers who probably have absolutely no idea what Infiniti is. And that's after Infiniti has spent zillions of dollars on global brand awareness.
Okay.
So here's the deal. Infiniti launched here in North America for the 1990 model year, and it was intended to be a Japanese alternative to European luxury brands like Mercedes-Benz and BMW. What happened was the Japanese brands had developed a great reputation for quality here in North America, but they saw that the European luxury car brands were making all the money. So they decided to take their reputation for durability and quality into the luxury market and kind of take on the big players. Now, the most famous brand for this is, of course, Lexus, which has had considerable success, Toyota's luxury brand, and Honda had Acura, and Nissan had Infiniti.
That's true.
And Infiniti launched in 1990 with a luxury sedan called the Q45, and also a much lesser known
I remember the Q45.
M30, and then next year a small sports sedan joined the lineup called the G20.
I didn't like the G20.
Infiniti were pretty good. They kept expanding their lineup throughout the 1990s. They were among the first to have a luxury SUV, to realize the potential of that market with the QX4 in 1996 based on the Nissan Pathfinder. And they added more vehicles, and they kept expanding, and the pinnacle was sometime in the early to mid 2000s. And that's when they debuted a fantastic luxury sports sedan called the G35.
He's
and
right.
It was better than the BMW 3 Series.
That's true. The G35 was.
The brand was trying to beat the BMW 3 Series. You had the Lexus IS and the Mercedes C-Class.
The IS was nice. Remember the Altenza? The Altenza lights?
The 3 Series was considered the gold standard. And the G35 was the first car to actually do it. It was sporty.
And the coupe was sexy too.
More room, it cost less. It was
I thought it was a
reliable.
spaceship the first time I saw it.
Fantastic. Everybody agreed. There was a coupe version that was even sportier, better looking. Motor Trend called it Car of the Year in 2003. It created a shockwave in the luxury car world. It was a huge deal. And Infiniti was doing great. Their lineup was just fantastic. Not just that car, but others like the FX SUVs and a few other models that were doing really well at that point. And it was about that time that they decided to expand. The thinking was, hey, we're doing great in North America, let's take this global, let's get big. And the thinking was, we won't just take on the global luxury brands in the States, but also we'll go to Europe, to their home turf, and basically everywhere else. So Infiniti started up plans to expand to Europe, and they did. They started the marketing and the name recognition, the dealership network, and they entered Europe in 2008. And then a couple years later, they expanded to Formula One racing. And they sponsored a team to get their brand name out there even more. Obviously, Formula One is hugely popular, especially in Europe, so it was a big way to gain name recognition. And then they expanded to Asia and Australia, and they just kept getting bigger, and things were all going reasonably well. But that was about a decade ago, and since then, things have come crashing down. And I'm not going to get into the exact causes of the collapse, but here are some highlights. The Formula One sponsorship ended 2016. A year ago, Infiniti announced it was leaving Europe. 6 months ago, they announced they were leaving Australia as well. All of that
they had to restructure.
and now they're pulling back and getting smaller. And things are pretty tough here in America, too, for Infiniti. Infiniti sales have always kind of ebbed and flowed, depending on the economy and what products they had new at the time. And actually, 2017 was Infiniti's best sales year ever, which sort of contradicts the doom and gloom that I'm saying here. But there's a big difference between Infiniti's success in 2017 and their success in the early to mid 2000s. Back then, Infiniti was a desirable up-and-coming luxury brand, and people really wanted
their cars.
Cool.
Yeah, I wanted a G35.
The G35 was cool.
And even the G37, both.
Cool. The Q45 was this big V8, the F40. They made some cool stuff. And as a result, people bought them because they wanted them. Now, there are only two types of people who buy Infinitis. One is rental car companies looking to have something they can upgrade people into. Oh, Mr. DeMuro, you can have an Infiniti for just $25 more per day. Ooh, an Infiniti. And the other is people who are looking for a deal. Every single person who currently drives an Infiniti does so because it was cheaper than the competition. There is...
You know what, guys? He makes his part. He's right. Infiniti has always made cars that are affordable as a lease, and when you look at them on the used market, they're still more affordable than the competitors. Just take a random guess. The IS350 versus a G37, or even the newer IS350 versus a Q50. It's still cheaper to get the Q50 3.7 versus the V6 IS350. So yeah, it's more affordable, and the lease rates were always more affordable. Sometimes you can put zero down. So that's what makes these cars really, really just affordable, as he said. You can get into them really easy. The credit wasn't really ridiculously too high to get into, and they were pretty reliable cars. So he's right. People want to get the best bang for their buck.
There's nobody walking into Infiniti dealerships right now and saying, this thing is better than Mercedes, BMW, Acura, Audi, Lexus, etc., Genesis, all on and on and on. They are only buying these cars because they are cheaper than the competition. Not better, but cheaper. And that's a tough position to be in, because even if you're selling fairly well, basically your entire brand position relies on lower profit margins and less money to be made, which isn't the best thing for business. And to make things even worse here in North America, sales are dropping fast. I mentioned 2017 was Infiniti's best sales year. Well, 2019 was down 25% from 2017, so just 2 years, they're down 25%. And right now, Infiniti's market share is the lowest it's been since I have data going back 15 years. It's just been declining. Basically, Infiniti is getting destroyed. Of course, it's no surprise that that's happening because Infiniti's product lineup is abysmal. Just a few years ago, at one point, Infiniti offered 10 different models here in North America, 9, 10, something like that. Well, now they're down to 4. The Q45 luxury sedan is gone. The QX30 subcompact crossover, which is one of the hottest segments on the market. Every luxury brand is in this segment. Infiniti isn't. In fact, they came out with this QX30 only a couple of years ago.
The QX30 is a Mercedes, though.
It wasn't selling. The only tiny crossover in the world that isn't selling. Somehow Infiniti managed that. They used to have the EX and FX crossovers. EX was small, FX was mid-size. Well, they consolidated those into only one crossover, a mediocre one called the QX50. And then in addition, they have the QX...
The QX50 isn't really a merging of those two things. No, because they're still thinking about releasing a QX55, which is supposed to replace the FX. So he's not doing his due diligence and research, but I get what he's saying. He's not an owner. He's known nothing about it. He just did a brief Google search. It is what it is, but let's continue.
60 and the QX80, which are both coming up on 10 years old. So in a world where Mercedes-Benz...
He's right. The QX60 and the QX80 is the same platform. Only thing they did was change the bumpers, change the headlights and the tail lights. Just change up the aesthetics and some things in the car a little bit, but that's it. They still give you the same car from back in the day. Even with the Q70, guys, remember that car is discontinued now. That was the same platform from 2011. That's almost 10 full years. And you're thinking you're getting a brand new car with different motor? No, they were still making 3.7 liters in a 2020. Come on, let's be serious. Come on.
Has 8 different SUV models. Infiniti has 3, 2 of which are a decade old and laughably outdated. It is insane mismanagement of a brand to have themselves in this situation, and I truly can't believe it. And I truly do not believe Infiniti will survive this. Times were tough before the coronavirus. The market share was shrinking.
But he knows what's going on with the Goosen guy, the leader of the CEO or the CFO of Nissan, Andor, Infiniti, and Renault. They were siphoning money from the company, so they didn't want to make any changes and put any money into doing anything. That's just honestly it. Like, if he looked into that, he knows that. He should know that. He should speak on that. But hopefully he speaks on it. If he doesn't, then he would understand. Basically, this company was money was pretty much being laundered and spent on frivolous nonsense by the CEO or the CFO, or whatever you want to call it. That's it. They just used this company to make money. They didn't want to put enough time and attention into R&D and make this platform really compete in the last 5 to 7 years. They could have done so much more, but they just chose not to because people was taking money right off the top.
The lineup was pared down. They were contracting after expanding to other markets. Things were getting slimmer. Now it's even harder. The lineup is ancient, not desirable, and it only survives on being the cheapest alternative to actual good cars. Now, it is worth noting that...
But what is he saying, actual good cars, though? What is a good car or what is an up-to-date car? To me, that's the difference. Because at the end of the day, sitting here talking about digital dash, Apple CarPlay and stuff, I get it. Those simple technologies are nice. That's something that we're used to. We really used to up to date. But we really sit there and think about a car. Think about it, a car and what you want to use it for. If it's your daily driver, does it have 4 wheels? Yes, it does. Does it have an engine? Yes, it does. Does it have a transmission? Yes, it does. I know that sounds really cheap and very minimalist, but this car is above just that. Like, it gives you a I'm talking about the Q50, Q60 here. Twin turbo motor. Yes, the 7-speed is a bit old. I completely agree. Interior is decent. It could be nice. He's right. It could be nicer. It could have nicer features. But at the end of the day, this is what makes it more affordable. If they chose to make some of these interior a little bit more up to date and try to compete, people will still pick the BMW because it's a BMW. Even though they might pick a BMW 330i over a Red Sport, even though it's a slower car, they'll still pick it because it's a BMW. People choose to pick more. People rather pick the lower class of BMW than pick the highest class of Infiniti because it's just the brand recognition. But that's what it is. This is what BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are doing. They have plenty of cars for plenty of different people and plenty different price points. Infiniti didn't do that in the last 10 years. So I agree with him, but I just wanted to speak a little bit more about it.
Cheap may help sell cars in today's economy, but like I mentioned, it does come at the expense of, making a profit, which is vital to business. They've already pulled out of Europe, Australia, Formula One, and sales and market share is truly plunging here in North America, and coronavirus isn't exactly going to give Infiniti more money to invest in future products and revitalize the lineup.
I mean, to be fair here, use a virus. Like, this is all speculation, right? If Americans right now are going through some of the hardest economic recession or correction that they're ever going through right now, right? A lot of people are going to be holding on to their money. But for some of the people who are choosing to purchase cars, all of the manufacturers are going to be hit by this. All of them, for all their new cars. But people are going to be a little bit more careful going to go get that $700 car note from BMW for their 340 when they're like, you know what, that Infiniti for 350 is half the price and I'm still getting a warranty. It's a nice car. It has decent tech. People are going to downgrade themselves. In the last 10 years, United States, we live in a capitalist society, and because of that, guess what we want to do? We want to purchase things that we really can't afford. We don't care about how much the car really costs. The car costs $80,000, $90,000, and you can make $40,000 a year. What you care about is the payment, and that is what the capitalist society is about. That is what the economy is about. How much do I have to pay per month? So at the end of the day, I do agree with what he's saying. Yes, our cars being affordable, it can be its downfall, but also on top of that, people care more about payment. That's just honestly it. So in the next 6 months to a year, you never know. Listen, maybe they'll do a reverse split or something in on the stock market. But if they continue to make their cars affordable, I think that's what's gonna protect them in the next, at least within the next year. That's my hypothesis. That's my assumption, because people will be a little bit afraid of spending that extra money now because they don't know when they're gonna get the next dollar. Just being honest. So let it close out. You only got like 2 more minutes.
In my opinion, the writing is on the wall and Infiniti is done. And if you had asked me 10 years ago during Infiniti's boom period, what would happen to the brand, I would have said that maybe one day I could see them overtaking Lexus in sales, truly. But now I think they may actually leave the US market before Mitsubishi, which is crazy because Mitsubishi has had one foot in the grave for years. But that speaks to how truly
Nissan owns Mitsubishi.
How laughably mismanaged this brand has been.
Owns it,
and how
purchased
little
already.
money they've been given to go out and create what should be a profit center, a luxury division. That's where the money is made. But Infiniti hasn't wanted to spend the money to make the money. So mark my words, Infiniti is a goner. The only chance they have, in my opinion, is a huge investment in new product, marketing, brand awareness, sort of like Lincoln, what Lincoln has been getting lately. But that's been a deliberate, expensive, long-term vision strategy from Ford. And I just don't see anyone in Infiniti who's so focused on immediate profits and short-term and what can we do to cut costs, making such a big step. Nothing in their history has proven that this is the kind of thing a brand like this might actually do, create an expensive long-term vision. There's no consistent leadership. It would require serious spending before we get any results, probably for years, and the company has not demonstrated a willingness to do that. Instead, they've demonstrated a race to the bottom. So personally, I think it's coming to an end. So goodbye to Infiniti, in my opinion. They did make some good, cool cars for a while, but no longer. Instead, they just seem to roll out a new concept car every few years. You have this one, and 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 that's just in the last few years. It's almost like Infiniti is saying, we know what we could do to be cool, but we're not actually gonna spend the money to get there.
But a lot of the concepts are based on design. They're not really aiming towards what the technology is in some of these cars because they're leaps ahead. Plenty of auto manufacturers make cars that they literally don't put the technology in it. They just go based off the design to put into their cars. That's mainly it. But I do agree with what he's saying. Yes, the Q50 Rogue or Rouge or whatever the case might be. Yeah, they did give us a GTR motor in the Q50, but it's not the one we wanted. Because they thought about it, hey, listen, that might be just too crazy to put a GTR motor in Q50. So let's just make a smaller motor, a VR30, as a more economic choice. And they did it, and it makes sense. I mean, but they might have made a little extra money because they came out with the Juke. Nissan decided to put it in the Juke, one of their ugliest cars. Doesn't make any sense to me, Nissan. But moving forward, I do agree. Now with the latest Q60 Black S, people love that car, but it's been out for like it's been a concept for what, 3-4 years now, and they still drive around like if it's a daily driver. But will it ever give that car to us? We don't know. We don't know.
Just keep showing off what they could do. It's like your buddy on Facebook who keeps posting, something big is happening, guys, about to make a big announcement, something's coming, about to find out. And then instead, he gets arrested for drunkenly stumbling into the wrong apartment. That's Infiniti summed up as a car brand. And it isn't gonna last. So, we'll see what happens. It could take months, it could take years, more likely, but I'm calling it Infiniti's gone. And thank you for watching more Doug DeMuro, for listening to my take on some of the industry happenings.
Alright, so let me give you my final closeout. I appreciate that, Doug DeMuro. It was a great video. If anyone's watching, make this part, hit the like button. This is my reaction video. To cascade it all under one umbrella. He's right. He's definitely right. They can definitely do a lot more, but they choose not to. Knowing that this is the company that makes... To me, I take Nissan Infiniti as a company that's like the BMW of the European world. We're the head knockers, if you would want to say. We're the one who come to play ball. And I believe Infiniti definitely has lost that. I don't know what they're necessarily not doing. From me being a loyal Infiniti and Nissan enthusiast for the longest time, one of the reasons why I'm still in a Infiniti is because one, it is one of the most affordable. Two, It's one of the more easier cars for me to work on physically, because some of it still makes sense. When I look at what certain BMWs and European cars have to do when it comes to their luxury cars, it's too much work for me. Like literally, physically too much work. You have to pay a tax to just have a Mercedes worked on versus an Infiniti. That's just what I looked on when it comes to just regular simple jobs, including what I want to do on my own. But moving forward from that, yes, now they finally caught up and have a decent Apple CarPlay, but their interior is about 6 or 7 years old. Yes, they should update it. They should have given us more options. Red interior should still have been a thing. People are gonna jump and say they should have a DCT transmission. I said that like 4 or 5 years ago, but after me learning more about transmissions, no, they should make a transmission with more gears and keep it a torque converter transmission, because majority of the newer transmissions now, they're torque converted and handle a high amount of torque load. So yes, Nissan has developed a 9-speed transmission that's going to the Nissan Titan. So hopefully that they maybe decide, and maybe next year or two decide to put the 9-speed in the Q50, because that's going to change their driving experience. They can also retune the car, let's say the Red Sports, to higher wheel horsepower. You guys know my car is modified, so if they would have just gave it 450 wheel horsepower, which they could have, because all they had to do was just add a bigger heat exchanger. That's all. A bigger heat exchanger and maybe 1 more to 2 more PSI, 450 horses to the crank. And people buy stuff because of that. When they see a numbers from factory with those high numbers, everybody loves numbers, people run to it. They're like, wow, that's 450 horsepower. Then guess what you have to do? You just add another 5 to 10 grand on top of that, and people will still run and go buy a car. You know what I'm saying? So with all honesty, when I'm talking about performance, that's what it is. But the interior space could be a little bit better, I would say. But you know, it's still a compact luxury sedan. So I can't get too mad about some of the competitors versus the C classes and the 300 BMWs and the A4s. Listen, at the end of the day, Infiniti just needs to give more options to their customers. I'm talking about visual options. I think when it comes to their sound system, it's okay, but it could be better, and just have a more refined transmission. That's honestly it. 7-speed at this point. We see 9, we see 10 speeds. Go along with everyone's doing a little bit. Infiniti, you still make a great looking car. They definitely still do. But at the end of the day, try to give us cars that are powerful, because that still sells. Look what Mopar's doing. But also on top of that, give us cars that still are really a good bang for its buck within its segment. And yes, they're a good bang for its buck, but they're nothing, like as he said, Doug DeMuro says, they're a good bang for its buck, but that's the only reason why is because people still choose it over the more expensive option. If they were similar price, people always picking BMW and Mercedes and Audi, and even Lexus and Acura. Well, I don't really like Acuras that much, but still. So otherwise than that, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe button, bell notification. Otherwise than that, you know how to contact me at boostinmotion on G and Facebook, boostinmotion@gmail.com. Also on top of that, if you want to support me, support the channel, try the Teespring account below. You can order Boost in Motion merch. And on top of that, guess what? Whew, we finally hit 20,000 subscribers. Let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving to the future. If you like this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good day. Appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you.